And then like 2015 and 2016 came along, and like, you know, we'd review the movie Black Panther, which, you know, got an amazing amount of, you know, like, I can't believe that you're not condemning Killmonger for wanting to kill white people, etc. And or thinking that he's like, you know, I made an analogy. I thought he's a great villain in the kind of mold of Magneto. Like, it's like, yeah, he wants a kind of horrifying shape of the world, but he got there honestly, right? And then you talk about something like Black Klansman, it's nakedly political, and it's like it became harder and harder just to have like neutral talk about entertainment, especially as things have gotten worse and worse. Entertainment, you know, like how the hell do you talk about a show like The Watchmen on HBO last year?
Now there are two different discussion groups.
Right?
Yeah, there are two different discussion groups for every major piece of media with any political bent now. And you'll see the progressive side and the reactionary side. The progressive side of Breaking Bad was, well, honestly, I think they were mostly just enjoying the movie. But there were some people who really did seem to want to use the movie as a vehicle for pushing hatred of women. I get Marie's annoying, and Skylar's pretty annoying too. But like, if you watch that movie and you come away thinking that Skylar is anything, sorry, not movie, TV show. If you come away from that show and like feel anything but pity for Skylar, like I don't know. Some people project a lot of really weird shit. You made a comment there how like Killmonger's a little bit like Magneto, and that their hatred is shaped by a very legitimate sort of encounter with the evils of the world. The difference is, to a lot of Americans, you know, the Holocaust is an undeniable, objective, obvious, horrible thing that they don't really question. Whereas black people are still oppressed.
Yeah.
Okay,
oh my God,
buddy.
Are we the baddies? Are we the baddies? Are we yeah, like that can't be.
100 years from now, it's going to be the same thing. There are going to be historical pieces about black people. So like right now, for example, the film, sorry, this is a tangent, but right now, the film Django, you know?
Sure.
Right. Wonderful film. Great. Were people mad about it? Sure, of course. It's a Tarantino film. There are going to be people mad about it. Did it inspire this massive wave of people angry at the idea of a black man killing slave owners? No, at least relative to the size of the movie and the buzz that it stirred, I feel like people mostly accepted it, because most Americans look at that movie and they're like, okay, he's a black guy in the 1850s. Oh, yeah, all right, okay, we get it. And 100 years from now, they're going to be saying the same goddamn thing about today, and we're going to look comparatively just as silly. They're going to be sympathetic tales of, like, you know, tragic, like, black men and women who are born on the streets and rise up to lash out at the system that oppressed them. And they, in the future, are going to go, well, obviously. I mean, look at that, of course. Yep. Yeah. But we don't see it today. So it's just a matter of time, I guess.
And I guess that's one thing that, from my personal experience, like growing up super religious and conservative in a conservative area of the country, I had my head so far up my ass about things like, you know, gay rights, and especially, I mean, that was a hot button issue in my community, that it's like, I kind of never, I'm really sensitive to seeing those patterns of thought in other places. And I think that's why, you know, because I remember, it's funny, you did the 1350 video, and I did, like, a couple weeks before that, I did an analysis of kind of like racial, you know, police stats and stuff like that, very along similar lines. But I remember the day that someone hit me with that, and I was like, it was like 15 years ago, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, what if everything I've been told, you know, like, because at that point, everything I've been told about religion was wrong. You know, I was kind of like I was open to new ideas, like, God damn, what if, you know, there's just something wrong with black folks.
Yeah, you could have taken the red pill, yeah.
And instead, I rolled up my sleeves. I'm like, you know, I'm actually going to look at both sides, you know, quote unquote, both sides of this issue. And like, that's what I try to preach is, like, there are very satisfying answers to the question of, like, why there's racial disparities in crime statistics, and, you know, why there's other disparities among sexes and classes and all this other stuff. You don't have to go through to, like, you know, just something wrong with the culture, you know. There's actually satisfying answers to be had there. And you know, one of the things I try to do is, you know, try to stay atop of the current topics and firewall people against, like, you know, what is the bullshit that's going to come out after this particular issue? Can I get ahead of that so that when you're having these conversations with your friends and family, you're not going to get blindsided by stuff like that can take you to a dark place, you know?
Yeah, this is one of my main criticisms as well with the anti SJW community. There are some anti SJWs who are just that, anti SJWs. A lot of them are neo Nazis now, but some of them are just anti SJWs. And the issue is when you levy out all these arguments about how the feminists are controlling our culture to, disempower white men and blah blah blah. You're essentially setting people up to be white nationalists. You're only a few questions away, really, from arriving at that position. If you already think that the far left and SJWs are teaming up to disempower like white dudes because they're angry or bitter or whatever, it doesn't take very much for you to go like, okay, well, we need to preserve our culture, and okay, what are the vessels through which they're doing this, and so on and so forth. What people are really looking for is satisfying answers. I've argued with enough Nazis to know if you give these people the right answer when it comes to racial injustice, I don't mean like a moral answer that's informed by your axiomatic values. I mean like factual information about why black people are the way they are right now. They scoff at it because it's unintuitive to them. They've been led down a path where the natural framework of the world suggests a genetic explanation, and that's the only answer they have. So anything else sounds like useless it's like with sycophant, essentially. Like you're coming at them with, okay. So I know it seems like black people are just less intelligent, but let me give you a 2-hour dissertation on sociology, very far left academic discipline, to explain to you why that's not the case. That's how it seems to them. So they don't want to get suckered by it. They don't listen. They just have their talking points. It's very unfortunate. There are a lot of people these days who I think are very deeply rooted in this hereditarian worldview. And I don't know how effectively they can be pulled out of it.